critical period is the X factor or the way difference between adults and children to study second language acquisition. And here our group find many statements about critical period by some scholars. There is 3 statements here. First, there is critical period for study second language acquisition. Second, there is no critical period for study second language acquisition. And third, there are critical period for something. And for the first statement will be explained by Garbage.
Ini yang presentasi di depan apa?
There is a critical period. Scholars who believe that there is a critical period generally rely on one kind of evidence, namely that L2 learners are not uniformly successful at acquisition the way learner 1 language learners are. That is, each and every unimpaired child been up with a native language system. To be sure, people vary on matters such as vocabulary size, rhetorical ability, discourse styles, and so on, but these are not matters related to the formal properties of language, which is the content of the critical period hypothesis. L2 learners, however, vary greatly in how much of the formal properties of language they acquire and can use. In the second on ultimate attainment, we made reference to work by the first co-creators as well as Johnson and Newport, in which faded trained and near-rectified L2 learners did not perform like a native speaker. Some scholars take this as evidence that there is a critical period. There is much additional evidence that gets mastered from the critical period hypothesis. The second, the Kaiser and Larson Hall, for example, review the research on near-native with an eye to what both the research might say about the critical period hypothesis. Their conclusion is that robustness of the data argues against any outright rejection of the critical period. Based on the Kaiser's previous work, as well as the work they review, this author suggests that the issue comes down to this. Children rely largely on implicit process to get language, and adults rely on explicit process. Because the linguistic mechanism posit for children only work implicitly, then conclusion is that post-CP learners are not engaging those mechanisms if they are learning explicitly. The third, Robert Lee Froman's fundamental difference hypothesis. Blake Froman claims that L2 acquisition and adult SLA are not the same and vary along a number of dimensions. Focusing on the characteristic of SLA, he lists the following. The first, lack of success and general failure. The second, variation in success, course, and strategy. The third, variation in goals. The fourth is facial fossilization. The five indeterminate institution. The next, importance of instruction. Next, importance of negative evidence and rule of affective factor. He claimed to that fact SLA in adults is different from L1 accusation in children. Thus, adults don't have access to universal grammar and do use general cognitive learning mechanism for getting language or language-like behavior. And the four other scholars fall on the same side of the critical period hypothesis. Argument and evidence can be mastered from a number of studies. That's all my presentation. The next, my friend Paula.
Next, there is no critical period or at least it's questionable. A number of scholars reject the notion of a critical period. These scholars either over-define that the native indeed can offset the decline ability or they generalize the data from the critical period hypothesis. Side, to show how the data can be interpreted in a different way. As we discussed in the section on whether layers can become native-like, research such as First, Wilson and White and Guinness, so that they can such research can be taken as evidence against a critical period. This would mean that adults who have access to universal grammar and that they also have access to the linguistic mechanisms reading acquisition that are present in first language acquisition. Second, David Wilson essay revealed a number of studies related to the critical period hypothesis and in conduction a more fine-grained analysis of first the linguistic structure studied, second how the effect of age play out in the data, third in noting that there are indeed native-like persons among the non-native group, come to the conclusion that critical period hypothesis is hypothesis unreliable and formulate.
Minta dicek sih Pak.
He arrives at